Hey there, before this episode starts, there's something you might have noticed. Our audio quality has increased. We have upgraded our old microphone and subbed it in for something better, so we look forward to the state of the podcast going into the future. Also, if you're interested in supporting the podcast, please follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes, all at Passtime Thinker. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/pastime. Shout out to Kevin, our first and only patron as of this episode. And if you know anyone who might be interested in the podcast, please share it with them. Thank you, and enjoy the episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 9 of Passtime Thinker. I'm your host, Frederick Piquet, and today my guest is Danielle. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you so much for having me, Fred.
Good, good. So yeah, you and I have known each other for like
Oh gosh.
17, 18 years now. Something
I would
ridiculous
assume
like that.
so. I would think we met in SK,
Yeah, so we would
right?
have been like
Or
5,
JK. No, junior kindergarten. We would
yeah,
have been 4.
4. And well,
Yeah,
we're both turning 23 now. Almost 20
that's
years.
correct.
Almost 20 years.
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy.
yeah, like we've known each other much longer than we haven't known each other.
Yeah, honestly. And you know what, Fred?
What?
I think today is Thursday.
It is Thursday. That's a inside joke when me and my fiance Jillian started dating. Danielle and I made this deal that I can be her boyfriend on Thursdays
And
and
Tuesdays. And
Tuesdays.
the
Yes.
occasional Sunday, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. That way,
Yeah.
no one felt left out.
Exactly. I wasn't constantly a third wheel. Sometimes Jillian got to be the third wheel.
Yeah, and it was nice. Nothing was different. It was just, but we knew. We like
Yeah,
nothing
exactly.
changed,
No, nothing at all.
but we knew.
Yeah,
Oh,
good.
yeah, like we've known each other for a very long time. It's hard to start at what to talk about because there's a lot of things you and I have already spoken about, so it's very difficult for us to like learn new things off of each other.
Yeah. I mean, is it okay to reminisce a little bit?
Oh, I mean, sure, if the stories are interesting.
Okay. Well, fun fact, I ran into our director from Sears Plays recently,
Oh,
Miss
really?
Haas. Yeah, we met up for a coffee recently,
That's cool.
and yeah, she's actually starting a collective of women art group with her friend Kelly,
Okay, that's cool.
and I got invited to it actually. They're gathering a collective of feminine figures
Okay.
uh, to create an art project that's related to climate change, but not only climate change, but women's rights and feminist rights, all that kind of stuff.
I
And we're
mean,
going to do this big art
both
exhibition.
like both those are like very noble causes. I just don't see how you can write those two things together. Like on their own, they're both like very necessary, need to be addressed things, but like it should be interesting how you can are they supposed to be correlated or is it just a thing that so happens to be about both of them?
I think we're going to try and correlate them as best as we possibly can. Like for example, this is going to get a little deep for a
Oh,
second.
go for it.
Um, but Miss Haas gave me an example. For example, oh my gosh, I'm saying
An
example too
example
much.
for
That's okay.
example. For
Yeah.
example.
Because I write poetry, um, an example she gave me was if I were to write about a tree, for example, and someone peeling the bark off of the tree,
Okay.
because that damages the tree, right? That has to do with climate change and
Yeah.
everything.
We all used to
And
do that to
then,
trees. I'm so guilty of just
exactly.
peeling
Oh,
bark
same,
off trees.
same. But then I could relate it to perhaps a man taking off a woman's clothes. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Undressing in that same way.
Oh, so like comparing the world to a figurative woman and then people as the figurative man.
Exactly.
Okay. Okay,
Just to kind of bring awareness of both, but also in a artsy way.
I could see yeah. And is it like a slam poetry thing or is it like a play? Is it a exhibition?
Um, See, we're only in the starting process of it. We've only met up once currently. We've had 6 ladies at the meeting so far.
Nice.
Yeah, and basically what we did is we talked about empowering feminine figures in our lives and why they inspired us. And we also talked about climate change a bit and a big word called bioregions. I don't know if you've heard of
Bioregions.
that. Yeah. Basically, what a bioregion is a specific part on a map. So, like where we're from, like Northern Ontario, let's
Yeah.
say, is a specific bioregion. And we have our own biodome. The climate is certain here. We have certain
Yeah. Negative
flora and
49 months out of
fauna,
the year.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Exactly. And if you were, to compare us to Australia, obviously our bioregion is completely different. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Absolutely.
So, um, and what we've realized is there's a lot of coverage in a lot of other places, like Australia, for example, and other places where big catastrophes happen and stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
But
but
no
there's
one
not
really,
really any coverage for Northern
yeah,
Ontario.
no one really pays attention to the silent tragedies.
Exactly. And especially with all of the indigenous problems we're having up here with women, all of that stuff, we're hoping to try and get some coverage for.
Yeah. I mean that's definitely a topic that needs to be addressed. Like I've been around a good chunk of North Ontario.
Hmm.
Like you and I are from Timmins,
Yeah.
and especially in terms of like like indigenous problems and stuff like that. Like it's between like between like Timmins and like Barrie, it's a huge issue, and no one seems to
Oh,
talk
for
about it. And
sure.
like that's a huge chunk of Ontario, and it's probably even beyond Timmins. It's just I've never been beyond Timmins, so I don't really know from my personal experience. But like,
Exactly. And
no
Timmins
matter,
itself is getting scary.
I've heard that. I've been reading. I've
Yeah. There was a post on Facebook actually recently about Microtel, and I used to work at Microtel, so this really kind of hit home for me.
okay.
And apparently, there was this woman, and I don't know if it was her daughter or her granddaughter, but it was a young child.
Yeah.
And this man approached them saying, like, hey, my car broke down. I just need like a boost, but it's just like around the other corner of the hotel.
Just come follow me, please.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So she was cautious, but she ended up going there. And as soon as she turned the corner to the other side of the hotel, a white van pulled up, two other men got
Jesus
out,
Christ.
and the situation got very suspicious very quickly. So she fled the scene and called the authorities. But as soon as they showed up, of course, they had fled the scene.
Oh yeah, of course they're gonna. Yeah, they can take right
Yeah,
off. And like,
yeah,
the response time of the Timmins police is pretty poor to begin with.
I agree, which is shameful to admit, but it's true.
Yeah, but again, it's just one of those things like there's so much going on in our hometown where like I would assume that it's slowly becoming like white noise to the police force. And I think that has something to do with it as well. I think
Oh,
if I think if there was like a change of pace or like something started happening to like this might be the wrong choice of words, but like to make it more interesting for the police or make it more of an interest for the police, they would start doing more. But I think as of right
oh,
now, it's becoming white noise to them.
I definitely can agree with that. And not only is there human trafficking, but the drug problems have been getting worse. Recently in town, they just, I don't even know what to call them. They just posted near the 101 Mall, actually, disposal bins, I guess,
Yeah,
for needles and
yeah,
everything.
those are super common in like Toronto. Like that's probably something that is useful. Like that's a very common thing outside of Timmins. It's probably something Timmins needed a while ago.
I agree. It's just honestly like a little shameful to see that we're getting to that point. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
but again, I feel like it's a necessary. Like over this summer, like I worked in landscaping, right? And
Yeah.
if I wasn't doing like a residential client and I was doing a commercial client, like
Hmm.
we would find needles all over the place, lining parking
Yeah.
lots, like or in some foliage, like. And I would rather them be in a collection bin than just anywhere someone could fall
Oh,
on
for
them or
sure.
step on them. And the only
Yeah.
reason why I would find them is because like very early on into the job, we learned to look for them when doing a commercial property.
Yeah, for sure. And no, now that you put that perspective into my mind, that definitely makes sense that they're in a
Yeah,
safer area,
it is.
but it's just definitely alarming still.
Oh, it definitely is to feel like it's necessary.
Yeah, just
But
doesn't
if
make
it
me feel
is
great.
necessary, then they should have it.
Oh, of course, of course.
Yeah. Well, this took a dark turn real quick. I mean, like, I could sit
Sorry,
around.
yeah.
Oh no, it's true. I could sit around and talk shit about my hometown forever. Like, I'm very prideful of where I'm from, but I'm very prideful from the state of the place I was from when I left it.
Yes,
But as
yes.
of right now, it's getting really shady really fast. Like there were problems like when I was living in Timmins, but like
Mm,
but I was still like prideful and like proud to be from there. But like
yeah, because
I
I feel like they were much more scandalous back then, and it's becoming almost a norm now,
yeah,
which isn't cool.
like yeah, like when we were in high school, when things like that would go down, it'd be like a oh, like that's interesting, like holy crap,
Exactly.
wasn't expecting
Yeah.
that, and like now it's just like oh again, okay, like oh
Hmm.
again, oh yeah, well saw this already, and that's kind of what I mean too about like it's probably just becoming white noise to both the people and the law enforcement, and that probably has a lot to do with why it's getting worse.
No, for sure. I definitely can agree to that.
And I'm sure like that comparison can probably also be used for, climate change and strong female leaders. Like if it becomes white noise, people aren't going to care. Like
Exactly. And like you just said, for example, all of the indigenous women that are getting abducted and we don't hear anything from them.
yeah.
Uh, there are countless amounts of women who have been abducted, and we barely hear about it.
Oh yeah. I remember when I was in college in Toronto, some students actually did a protest um uh
Hmm.
to talk about that, and only me and one other person who's also from North Ontario like even knew what they were talking about, and we had to explain it to our 15 plus other friends who had no idea that it was even a problem worth protesting.
Yeah, it's just so, I don't even know. It's just kept hush, which is
Yeah,
a shame because it's almost like residential schools. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, because residential schools, I feel like were kept very private, very on the hush, and if you were an indigenous person, you were talked down to and brought down about that.
yeah,
And it's just very cliche. Is that the right word?
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I've never had a problem with indigenous people. I just want to make that clear. Like,
No, neither have I. Neither have I. It's just, I don't know. It just makes me feel sad.
yeah, well, it's definitely saddening. Like, anyone with any amount of empathy can,
Yeah,
like,
for
see
sure.
that, like, that is a bad situation to be in.
And like a person like myself, I don't typically call myself an indigenous person, but I do have indigenous background. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? I am technically legible for the status card, but I don't have one. I don't partake in all of that tax stuff. But
yeah,
um, so it definitely hits home.
yeah. Well, to know that, like, your history is involved with it, even though you might not be affected directly by it, but, like, the history is definitely affects you.
Exactly. And if I can make an example related to music here, there's a song called "I'm Not Racist" by Joyner Lucas.
Joyner
I don't know.
Lucas. I love Joyner
Yeah,
Lucas.
yeah. And there's a line in that song, and it's something related to, he says his grandma was a slave and that shit gets to him.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like he wasn't affected
by it personally.
by it personally, but it still affects him. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I can definitely relate to that line in this situation.
yeah. I mean, of course it's going to like even though like nothing directly or physically has been done to you, like it still affects you knowing that it's happened to
It
your
could
people.
happen.
Like
Exactly.
just knowing like oh, if I was born X amount years earlier, it would have happened to me.
Exactly. And to know, like my great grandma was probably in a residential school. I never met her. I never got the opportunity to meet her, unfortunately. But, she was. a completely indigenous woman, and I can't even imagine what she went through. And my grandfather, who was her son, lived a hard life, and I can't even imagine that.
Yeah. Well, even like I know that a lot of people dislike this argument, but it even though nothing's happened to this generation of indigenous people, like there's still a lot
There's
that's
still things happening.
yeah, there's still a lot that affects them. Like even though
Exactly.
like it's kind of like a domino effect. Like yeah, like my great grandmother was put in a residential school, and
Hmm.
it messed her up in this way, which led her to raise my grandmother in this way, which messed her up, which led her to raise my mother this way, which messed her up, which led her to raise me this way, and like it still affects.
It still affects everyone, for
Yeah,
sure.
and I know a lot of people think that that excuse is a cop out because the
Oh, I
whole
don't
like
believe that.
because the whole own your own destiny, break the cycle, blah 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 blah.
Hmm. And I
But
mean, don't get me wrong, I do believe in breaking the cycle and,
yeah,
protesting and believing in what you stand for, but it doesn't mean that the past trauma doesn't exist.
well yeah, like just because you're in a position to break the cycle, it still needs to acknowledge that you are in the cycle.
Exactly.
And again, I think that's only someone from the outside looking in can really muster up to think
Hmm.
is a viable reason. Like, oh,
No, for sure.
you're messed up. Well, just stop. Like,
Yeah.
it's it isn't that easy.
No, for sure. And I feel like that can also tie into mental illness for
Oh,
sure.
absolutely can. It
Yeah,
absolutely
because
can.
it's something that not everyone can see. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And because people can't see it, they can't necessarily choose to believe that it's there.
Yeah. Well, it took like even nowadays it's so hard for people. Well, I think the pendulum swung because a couple years ago it was you're not depressed, you're just sad for right now, just like watch your favorite movie, you'll feel better.
Mhm.
Or like no, you don't feel that way or like oh, it's going to be okay, this is a temporary thing to everybody has it. Like the rate of misdiagnosis is what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And even self-diagnosis can be bad.
Self-diagnosis is horrible. Like I strongly disagree with self-diagnosis,
Same.
and that's
Don't believe everything you read on the internet.
yeah. Well, also like I used to self-diagnose, especially with my sleeping problems,
Hmm.
until I actually went to see a doctor. Like because it came to a point where like I thought I needed prescription medication
Yeah.
for sleeping, and you know like he did give me a prescription. I still take them from time to time, but like it was more just about my schedule and like it had I had other mental illness issues that was making me not sleep well, but like the not sleeping well itself wasn't the issue.
Hmm.
And like
For sure.
that is something that's dangerous about self-diagnosis because you can self-diagnose the issue, but you don't know what's causing that issue.
Exactly. And what you choose to believe and act upon within what you find in that search, might not always lead you to the right place,
Oh, absolutely.
for sure.
Yeah. Well, some dead air. That's fun.
Sorry about that. It got a little heavy there. Just
Oh
needed
yeah.
a time. Needed to take a breath.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things going down in North Ontario that a lot of people either choose to ignore or just flat out don't know about.
Hmm. For sure.
But
Um,
I like to think that we're slowly making progress. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not too sure either. I mean, we definitely are slowly bringing awareness,
I
and
f-
more people are trying,
yeah,
which
like
is always a good.
I feel we're making a lot of small scale progress. Like
Exactly.
I feel like a lot of like this generation is educating themselves. A lot of like even our generation or like the generation below us is
Hmm.
are the ones making the strides in self realization and observation and stuff like that. So I hope that once our generation and the one below us are in a position of power, then a lot of good will start
Yes,
happening.
exactly. And even what's her name? Greta Thunberg.
Yeah,
Is that her name?
Greta Thunberg.
How old is she? She's younger than us, and look at all of the incredible impact she's already made on climate change,
Yeah,
and the protests she's done, and all the activism she's been brought awareness to. You know what I mean?
yeah. Is like I have mixed emotions about Greta Thunberg, because like one like she is way too young to be a figurehead. Like it is ridiculous that someone that young had to fill in that position. Like even though like the work she's done is amazing, like
Hmm.
that should be an adult standing there, an adult saying those things. Like it's kind of ridiculous that a child had to come to that point.
You know, that I can agree with. I feel like it definitely is something that adults in power should be, taking more of a stance on.
Yeah.
But since they haven't been taking that stance and taking action, I feel like a child is someone who, was able to make that impact and make a difference
Yeah.
because it opened the eyes of many people and they were wondering, just like you just did, why is there a child up there? You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
But this child is genuinely concerned about their future.
yeah, and also like again, I do have a lot of mixed emotions when it comes to her. Like the message I agree with, it's just the person saying it. Like I also think she should be in school. Like I don't really agree with the amount of school she's skipped and how people
Okay, that's fair.
and how like people are justifying the amount of school she's skipped. Like again, I don't know about the country she's from, but I know that like if for example she was Canadian, her parents would have been charged by now due to the amount of school she's missed.
That I can understand, and I never took that into consideration actually. So, no, I definitely agree with that. But I feel like where she is, though, she's also learning a lot in her own ways, if that makes any
Well,
sense.
she's learning a lot about climate change, and she's probably at this point she's probably learning a lot about like political etiquette and politics and stuff like that.
Hmm.
But she's not getting a well-rounded education if she's protesting all day. Is what I'm saying. Like, yeah, she probably knows a lot about the things she's probably going to get it into as an adult, but she
Hmm.
probably doesn't know about the things that are going to get her into university or college to be able to act on those things she wants to participate in.
That I understand. And I also feel like, also from a perspective, that she's kind of missing out on childhood now that I
Yeah,
think about
yeah,
it.
that as well. Like, yeah,
Hmm. And to bring it back, like, an adult that should be doing this because an
it
adult,
absolutely.
has gone to school, has lived their childhood, and should be acting on this because it is something that needs to be acted on.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like I agree with her message. It's just there's I have a lot of mixed emotions about Greta Thunberg,
Yeah.
and I know there's a lot of people that hate her regardless of information they're given, and I know there's people who love her regardless of information they're given, and
Hmm.
I'm very much on the fence.
For sure. And, it's just all about keeping an open mind, right?
Oh yeah,
And
absolutely. I'm
being open
always
to
open.
opinions.
Yeah, I'm always open
Exactly.
to new information.
For sure. And I feel like that's kind of why you started the podcast, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, we've had a couple of interesting people on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely a lot of things about things I don't know about.
Yeah. It's always good to learn and expand your horizons.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't know where to take the conversation from here. Danielle, say something.
Um, no, don't do that.
Don't
Don't put
do,
me on the spot.
don't do that. Oh, that's hilarious.
Actually, I feel like I might have a poem somewhere in my novel that
Oh,
I have released. Um, that might have to do a little something with climate change.
oh, really? So, for the
Uh-huh.
viewers listening that might not know, Danielle has written a book of poetry, and it is available. I'll put a link in the description down below and let her talk about it a little bit at the end of the podcast. But you have a poem about climate change,
Um,
or
Now
some.
that I'm looking at it, I'm not too sure if it's exactly about climate change, but I feel like it is a good starting point. If we're taking it back to my first subject there about the Women Collective art project that we're starting.
Yeah.
This poem here, that if you don't mind I read, is called Surrounded by Twigs and Mighty Trunks. And this poem I wrote is basically about myself growing and learning things and learning to love and, all of that stuff that kind of, I feel like will tie into what we're speaking of.
Oh, go for it.
Awesome, thank you. Surrounded by twigs and mighty trunks, there's me, a growing evergreen, about 5.5 feet tall. Vibrant as ever, yet still not strong. My roots have dug in, and I am here. I am surrounded by a forest of love and loneliness, terrified of the night, but morning is grace, wanting to grow my inner rings, but not wanting to do it alone. I want the wind to blow my arms out so I can make a connection with one, but it seems every gust is a storm, and my branches are weakening. The sun is coming soon, though, and I shall stand taller within my pose. I've yet to learn how not to be afraid of the rain, but one day I will get there, though. I have not lost sight of my purpose here, and have many more branches to grow. As I grow taller too, I know one day I will connect with you.
Hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's nice. It's nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah, so sorry. That poem just kind of inspired me with love and growing from experiences. And I feel like that can tie in to kind of what we were speaking with because it, speaks about trees and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Moving on. That came out a lot saltier than I meant it to be.
That's okay.
Uh, but yeah, kind of moving on to what we were talking about at first. So you and I have known each other our entire life. Like we've probably
Pretty well. Yeah.
yeah, known each other before we can even like formulate memories.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And like sometimes there's a lot you remember more than I don't remember. Cuz
Oh,
well,
yes.
so yeah, so Danielle and I used to go to a French school or a French immersion school.
French immersion, yeah.
And then in the second grade, I got moved to an English school because for the life of me, I like the real reason why I left is because for the life of me, I was not catching on writing wise in French. And
Okay.
I was tanking. Like, well, for, as much as a second grader can tank, but like
Yeah.
I just wasn't following along with reading or writing. Like my from what I understand, like my pronunciation and like my speaking was fine, but
Hmm.
I could not read it. I could not write it to save my life. So like my mom just kind of went, "Well, I can't help him with homework, so just move him to the English school where I can help him." So yeah, in second grade I got moved to an English school, and then you and I ended up in the same junior high and high school after that.
Yeah. I do remember though in elementary school, um, I think I was your girlfriend before Jillian was.
I believe you were. You may have been my first girlfriend.
I think you were my first boyfriend, Fred.
Nice, nice.
And there was a time where in elementary school we had to line up to get drinks from the fountain,
Yes.
and you, nasty person, used to always put your lips on the fountain,
See, I
and it used it used to really gross me out, Fred.
I don't understand. Like you have told me that I used to do that. I have no memory of doing that. And then on top of that, I have like explicit memories of when I was in the English school being grossed out by seeing people do that.
That's so funny. But I explicitly remember because, you were my boyfriend, so I thought, if he was my boyfriend, he should let me go in line first so I could drink from the fountain before you, so I didn't have to get the nasty fountain germs
But
behind you.
was I at least a gentleman?
You were, you were.
Okay.
You did let me go first.
Nice, nice. And that is a message that good men let women go first. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
Good men let. No, I can't. Good men let women finish first.
Yeah, see? I knew that even as a 4-year-old.
Okay.
It was just a.
Oh
Oh.
boy.
Yeah, but then at least in high school, your dating circle kind of changed.
A little
If you
bit,
want to talk
you
about
know.
that.
Yeah,
'Cause-
in between the summer of grade 9 and 10, like going into grade 10,
okay.
I came out as bisexual at first.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting for sure. I came out to my mom at first,
Yeah.
and she didn't take it well,
Did you
that
come out to
well.
your mother before any of your friends?
No, no,
Oh,
my
okay.
friends found out before.
Because I thought I remember you telling me about telling your mom.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like that's definitely a thing. I definitely thought about it for a long time before I actually did it.
Yeah.
Um, but what really encouraged me to bring myself to do it was because I had a good friend of mine and he had came out as gay, and my mom approached him on her own terms and everything, and she was like, like, um it was really brave of you to do that, and if you ever need like an adult figure to talk to, I'm here for you, I support you and all of that. So I was like, well, shit, you know what I mean? If she's saying that to him, I should have no problems.
Yeah.
But of course, it's always a little different when it's your own child.
Yeah.
So she cried a little bit and hounded me with some questions and everything. Um, and then out of anywhere, she ran to her cell phone to message my lesbian aunt's girlfriend.
Okay. Yeah. See, this is what I remember you telling me about. Like this part of the story.
Yeah, so I have a gay aunt, and she's in a long-term relationship with a woman from Toronto.
Nice.
And excuse me, the woman from Toronto used to work at I'm gonna call it a youth center.
Okay.
And oh gosh, oh my god,
Just that's the Lord telling you you're a sinner.
it is. I'm such a sinner. I'm sorry. Okay, I apologize.
All good.
Anyways, so yeah, she was working at this youth center, and what she did basically was mentored and sort of counseled these youth that were living on the streets because they were kicked out of their houses for being gay, basically.
Right.
So she kind of knew how to approach the topic with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it was a good thing my mom went to her because, she knew how to approach that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she calmed my mom down. And when I went back and spoke to my mom for the second time, my mom apologized and everything. And then she offered to tell my dad for me.
Oh.
And I took that super quick
Yeah. You took that
because
offer.
yeah, for sure. Because my dad, I find personally, is a very brute guy, very manly man, if you would,
Okay.
and very old fashioned as well. So I was a little scared um, how he would take it. But she stopped him before he came inside and told him everything. And he came back in, sat with me, and just offered to play video games. He acted like nothing was wrong. So, I
Because
just
nothing is wrong.
exactly, you know what I mean? I'm still their child. I'm still me.
Yeah.
It's just my preference.
Well, that was something I was low key curious about, and I just so like in high school, like I kind of ran with the gay crowd. Like a more than half of the group that you and I were part of were gay, right? Like
Oh,
almost
yeah, for sure.
almost completely
Almost all
besides
of
yeah, pretty well almost besides Jill and myself. Like
basically, yeah. I can think of maybe one other person who might,
yeah.
not fit the gay category,
Yeah,
but
me not thinking about it. Oh, like how think I'm talking about, but in the moment then in high school.
oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, like I was like
Brad was overpopulated by the gays.
I was always like nervous for you guys because like I know first of all we went to a Catholic school
We did,
in
yeah.
a super small North Ontario town. Like I was like always like nervous for you guys. I was like, are they gonna get harassed? Are they gonna get beaten up? Are they gonna find people to date? Like I was like, I don't know why I worried way too much more than I should have on your behalf.
Really, I didn't know that. That's kind of sweet,
Yeah,
actually.
well, I was always like,
Know that you kind of had our backs. You know what I mean?
well, I was like in a perpetual state of like, oh, that like they're not gonna get laid until they move out of Timmins, or like, oh, they're gonna have to be in, or like, or they're gonna have to be in the closet until they move out of Timmins, or like, I was like always perpetually like worried, just because of like the surroundings we were in, because like
Yeah,
we went to a uniform Catholic high school in a small northern town, like.
that's true.
I knew that like like the community is there, but I know that it's small, and I know that its supporters
Oh,
are
definitely.
even smaller.
Yeah, no, for sure. But I think, I mean, considering we had it pretty good. I know our chaplain, Mr. Bueller, he made an effort to express his open self, not open self. Well, yeah, I'll say that. His open self and his open mind to everyone in the school.
We did have a really good person, like our I guess our Catholic representative or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm not
I called
entirely
him the chaplain
the chaplain. Yeah, he was an amazing person.
for sure, yes. And even a lot of the teachers in school were definitely supportive.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and I know you just kind of gotta take it as it is. You know what I mean? You gotta be yourself. You can't
Yeah,
hide yourself. And if you're a good person genuinely, you know what I mean? Nothing bad is gonna happen.
yeah. Well, that's
I'm a strong believer. Sorry, I'm also a strong believer in karma
yeah,
and vibrations, brainwaves, and all that kind of stuff.
yeah.
So I strongly believe what you think and what your mind is thinking is what is being sent out into the
Oh
world,
yeah,
and
the
that's
law of
what's going to be
attraction.
brought back to you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I understand that ideology. Like, I phase in and out of like believing it or not believing it, because like there's been definite times where I'm like I see people, I'm like, oh, you 100% brought that on yourself, and other times where I just see the exact opposite happen. It's like, oh, you're just gonna be a shitty person, continue to be a shitty person, and the universe is gonna reward you. So
Yeah,
like I phase in and out of that school of thought.
for sure. I just, I personally just choose to want to believe it, I think, just because, you got to have faith somewhere.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
yes, we did go to a Catholic school, but personally, I'm not following the Catholic religion. You know what I mean? I'm
Yeah.
much more of a spiritual person. And that's just how I choose to point my faith and where I want to, focus my hopes and stuff.
Oh, absolutely. Like same pretty well. Like yeah, I've never not been in a Catholic school. Like
Hmm.
I was raised Catholic, and up until like the age of like 12 or something I went to church every Sunday. Like
Yeah.
like I was an altar server for a brief moment of my life. Like even when in high school, like there was only like in an entire high school, well, Catholic high school, there was only 3 students that were like actually trained to be an altar server. It was like me and 2 other guys. And
Oh my gosh, that I did not know.
yeah, like out of the entire school, I don't know if we were the no, because we went to church, so we would know who else was trained. But yeah, out
Hmm.
of the entire school body, there was only 3 of us that was trained to altar serve. And at the time of us graduating, all 3 of us were in grade 12. So I don't even know if there's any students after us who can altar serve.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I'll tell you the names when we're not recording, but yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well, but
That's
speaking
kind
of
of sad, actually, but
yeah, but even like as of now, like as an adult, like I'm not very Catholic or Christian. I'm very much just like yeah, spiritual. I know like I don't like saying spiritual because I know that's a very big label. Like it's a big umbrella label.
yeah, I feel like spirituality can be very widespread.
Yeah. But you know what? We've been talking now for about 40 minutes, so I think we're going to take a small break, and
Sounds good.
we'll get back to you after the ad reel.
Perfect.
Alrighty. This episode is brought to you by Brotherhood MFG. Brotherhood MFG is a clothing brand centered around car culture with a fresh style. So if you know anyone into cool car-inspired clothing, go to teespring.com/stores/Brotherhood MFG and use discount code Passtime in all caps, and you'll get a 13% discount off the entire store. All right, back to the episode. All right, and we're back. Did you enjoy your break,
Hello.
Danielle?
I
you
did, thank you very much.
you said you were coloring?
I was coloring. I was more so scribbling,
Yeah.
um, but it kind of looks like a watermelon, so I'm okay with it.
Nice, nice. So, a
Thank you.
conversation that I've been dying to talk to you about because I think you're the first person on the podcast that we've had that I can talk extensively with about is the Harry Potter universe.
Woo! I'm so ready. I love Harry Potter.
Oh yeah, me too, me too. Have
At the
you?
moment, I am currently, staring at two Harry Potter pop figures.
Oh, nice.
I have the limited edition Harry Potter in his Quidditch outfit,
Okay.
and I have Ron Weasley in the Yule Ball gown.
Oh, that I love that fucking the blue with the frills.
Yeah.
Oh, what I'm looking at right now is the Elder Wand
Oh.
and my Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle board game.
What?
Yeah, have you heard about this board game?
I have not, and I am super interested.
Oh, next time that we see each other, we have to play. It takes a couple hours to play, but it's kind of like a guided Dungeons and Dragons game, but it's all Harry Potter themed. And there's 7 campaigns, and each campaign is each book.
My jaw literally just dropped.
Yeah,
Ooh,
there's only
that sounds super fun.
yeah, there's only 4 playable characters. You can play as either Harry, Hermione, Ron, or Neville.
Okay.
And like it's really cool because they each have like different abilities and powers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's really
Oh,
cool. But yeah, it's
that sounds definitely interesting.
yeah, it takes a while to play it. Like if you want to get through all 7 campaigns, like you're gonna be there a couple hours.
Understandably, but nothing wrong with a little Harry Potter time.
Oh yeah. So do you want to talk about your Pottermore stuff?
Ooh,
Do you have it
yes.
memorized? Do you have your Pottermore things memorized?
Vaguely.
Okay. So
I believe. Okay, sorry. You go first. You take it away.
so for me, I'm Ravenclaw.
Mm.
My wand is a 7.5-inch ashwood with phoenix feather core.
Okay.
So like yeah, because like I remember looking it up. Like I basically have the same wand as Harry Potter, except his is like half an inch bigger, like longer than mine.
Okay. Neat.
Yeah. And my Patronus, I always forget. It's one of the dogs. I think it's a hound dog. I forget. It's a type of dog.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Okay, so shamefully enough, I only remember my house and vaguely my wand,
Okay.
but I'm a Hufflepuff, surprise, surprise.
Surprise, surprise.
And I believe my wand had the only thing I remember was that it had unicorn something because I really like unicorns.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Oh,
And oh, and slightly bendy. I recall that.
oh, I forget mine. I think, I think mine is like the super rigid actually.
Oh, neat.
And I think all that means is that like literally once I die, like my wand just becomes a stick.
Oh.
It's like my wand literally only listens to me.
Very
And
low.
yeah, and yeah, because like wands have like personalities and stuff like that, and basically
Yeah.
if I go against my wand's personality, like it literally just will not work for me.
Well, that's pretty neat, actually.
Yeah, well, not really.
Well, kind of. It depends on the scenario, I suppose.
Yeah, because I think like Ashwood. No, I'm about to talk out of my ass. I'm not entirely sure. I remember reading it once. I think it's something like almost exclusively defensive spells or something
Oh,
like that.
okay.
Yeah.
Hmm. I have, I think, a very good question for you.
Okay.
So, You know how when you have to cast the Patronus, you have to think of the happiest memory in your life, right?
Yeah.
What would be your go-to memory to cast a Patronus?
Oh my god. It has to be like literally your happiest Is this just to get a Patronus or to get like a physical Patronus?
You gotta get that hound dog,
Like
buddy.
to get the
What are
familiar?
you? Yeah.
Oh my
What
god.
are you thinking of?
It's gonna have to be something from Europe,
That's what mine is.
but I'm not entirely sure because we had a lot of good moments in Europe.
We do. Do you want me to tell you mine?
Go for it.
Mine is specifically our second day in Barcelona,
Okay.
our free day that we got to roam.
Oh, yes.
And it is with you and Jill and one other friend of ours on the beach of Barcelona.
Oh, yeah, and I had mojitos.
Yeah. And there was the nudist Felix. He was down the beach a bit.
Right, right.
And I remember it was the first time I ever stepped foot in the ocean. And I don't know if you know this about me, but I am a freaking ocean nerd. I love the ocean.
I did not know that about you. But I think,
Yeah.
aren't I the one who took that picture of you in it too? Like, you genuinely look happy.
Yeah, you did actually. I just remember looking up and smiling because I was just so full of joy, and you
Yeah.
just snapped the picture right at that moment.
Yeah, like you're
And
like
it's
almost.
actually one of the
Yeah.
previewing photos on my Facebook page still.
Yeah, like you're like falling over yourself how happy you are.
Yeah.
I it's weird. I really remember that picture. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Just that day in general. Not only on the beach, I remember I also went to the sex museum that was there.
I don't think I went there.
No, Michaela and I went there. And we did the tour. It was super neat. There was a whole Marilyn Monroe section.
Yeah, you were telling me about that cuz
Yeah.
I think right outside the sex museum there was a bunch of vendors and I think you caught me, Jill and Justin at one of the vendors just as you were stepping out of it.
It's very possible. And I also think our meat back section was really close to that museum.
Mhm. Cuz
Um,
I remember the Marilyn Monroe being on like the balcony and you were like, "Oh yeah, she
yeah.
was inside."
Yeah, she was actually, you could get a tour from Marilyn Monroe.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we didn't take that option, unfortunately, because it was a bit more expensive, but we took
Who?
the free tour.
Okay.
And so you just walked through it. It was super awesome. So yeah, there was her section. There was a phallic plant area.
Yes, because were you talking about the flowers, or did you actually buy some of the seeds? Because wasn't there like a penis flower, like a vagina flower?
There were also penis-shaped pepper seeds, bunch of stuff. I didn't buy any, but I definitely snapped a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, because every now and then, like I'll see like a picture of one of those flowers just like floating on the internet. I'm like, hey, I think Danielle got one of those, or like
Yeah,
I remember holding
I've
like the
seen one.
yeah
And I think they were outside of the museum also. I think the museum had vendors.
yeah I think I remember looking at like the seed packet with the picture of the flower on the packet.
Yeah, that's very likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
there was that. And also in that day, there was a street impersonator.
Okay.
And I swear to God, it was Johnny Depp. I know it
Oh.
wasn't, but it looked so much like Johnny Depp in Alice in Wonderland as the Mad Hatter.
Oh.
I got a picture with him, most tourist thing I've ever done. I have my fanny pack on and everything.
Yeah, I have one picture like that while I was screwing with a mime while we were in France.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I have
But
one. Yeah, fanny pack,
oh
freaking
yeah,
casual clothes. I think I
whole
was wearing a
nine. Yep.
sweater. Yeah.
Yeah, very touristy of us, but I didn't care. I was having the time of my life.
Oh yeah. I really. Oh, you know what? Remember the flamenco night?
Oh, with the people dancing?
Yeah.
I do.
That
That
was.
was neat. I forgot about that actually.
Yeah. I don't remember the show, but I remember going into and out of the venue.
I feel
because
like it was very small, right?
yeah,
Kind of hit.
it was. Because I remember just outside the venue, a bunch of things happened. I think Jill almost lit my pants on fire
Oh gosh.
because
Okay.
because like somewhere during that day before we got there, I got like a really fancy lighter
Okay.
to bring home, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember Jill and I took a picture in front of a castle that was on the other side of the lake from where the venue was.
Oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember Jill looks fancy as fuck in that picture. Like she's like wearing
Uh-huh.
like a light T-shirt with like an infinity scarf, and like her makeup was perfect, and like I think I was like literally like wearing like shorts, a T-shirt, and like a sweater over my T-shirt. Like I was wearing shorts with a sweater on or something. Like I looked like I did
Oh
not
gosh.
belong in that photo.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, wild. That seems so long ago. Our trip to Europe.
It does. It really does.
Well, it kind of was. That must have been like 6 years ago at this point. 6? Seven?
I don't know
Seven
how
years
long
ago?
ago Europe was. I would assume about that long.
Yeah.
I mean, we graduated how long ago? And it was 1 year before we graduated, right?
Yeah, I think we graduated 6 years ago, so that would have been yeah, we would have gone to Europe seven. That's already been 7 years since we've been there.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But there was a lot of shenanigans during that trip though. Like there was like minimal adult supervision for
Oh,
like
heck yeah.
and like how many of us were there?
I thought there were 32?
32? Yeah, and I think there was like what, like 4 adults or something like that, maybe more.
Something like that. Yeah,
Two,
4 or 5.
4, 5. I think there was
Yeah,
5.
I think so because there are a couple of parents.
Oh yeah, so then bring that to 6. Yeah,
Yeah.
because we had, I'm not going to name names, but we had teacher A,
Yeah.
uh, teacher B and her dad,
Yeah.
teacher C and his wife,
Yeah.
and a parent.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah.
Mhm.
God,
Wow.
yeah. And then when we came back
I
to.
actually ran into said parent that came on to Europe trip with us when I was working at the hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um and their daughter who also was on the trip is
Yeah.
doing well. I believe she's in modeling actually.
Yeah, Jill follows her on Instagram and almost always disagrees with her makeup decisions.
Yeah.
Well, like I don't follow her, but like every now and then Jill will be like, "Do you follow blah blah on Instagram?" I'm like, "No," and she's like, "Look at her fucking face," and then she'll like show me her phone. I'm like, I don't know what you're showing me," and she's like, "That makeup looks stupid." I was like, "Oh, okay."
I mean, I'm not one on makeup personally. I don't wear makeup, but there are some lipstick choices that I would consider. Let's just say.
I think the only time I've ever worn makeup, it had to do with a theater production.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
For me, it was either theater or my close friends trying to give me a makeover for whatever reason.
just to experiment.
Yeah, because Danielle doesn't wear makeup, so let's put makeup on her.
Yeah.
But it's okay, it was fun.
Well, I
Some
kind
of
of
them came out really good.
I kind of like had similar situations in junior high. So, well, you know this, but I used to have very, very long hair.
Yes, I remember that.
And when my hair gets long, it gets super shaggy. So like I have like half curly hair kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like my hair genuinely like grows super shaggy when it's super long. And like
Yeah,
everyone was obsessed with straightening my hair.
I remember that.
Like on like
Everyone wanted to do it.
yeah,
All the
like
girls.
on like 3 or 4 occasions, like people would bring their straightening irons to school, and then
Yep.
like make me stay in the school during our recess period because they want to straighten my hair, and then
Yeah, I remember that.
until one of the girls straight up burnt my forehead.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Didn't know that happened. Don't
Yeah.
remember that part, but
After that, I cut it right off. Like, well, like
oh,
I cut off the straightening my hair. I didn't cut my hair.
oh, okay. I thought you got insecure and cut your hair off. I was like, no, Fred.
But I did do a stupid transition. Like, I forget if it was in grade. It must have been like in grade 8. But I literally went from like collarbone length shaggy hair to buzz cut overnight.
Yes, that
At
freaked a lot of us out.
yeah, yeah. No, I've
We were able to
seen.
see your big head all of a sudden.
Yeah, I saw even recently. I think Jill and I were looking through old pictures, and then like it like surprised us. I just like swiped, and then like it was just me with a buzz cut. I'm like, oh my fucking god.
Yeah. Oh, I've had some pretty bad hair decisions in middle school too. Come on now.
Well, it took me a while to learn that lesson because I think I went from shaggy hair to buzz cut like 2 or 3 times between grade like 5 and 10.
Oh gosh.
Like I did it a couple times where like I'd grow my hair out super. Well, it's not like a problem for me because my hair grows super thick and super fast. Like if I want to keep like my hair at like a professional looking length, like I need to get my hair
Yeah.
cut. I need to get my hair cut like every 2 to 3 weeks. Like
Oh my gosh.
easily,
Really?
easily.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's resulted in me like needing like having to find like a very trustworthy hairdresser.
For sure.
Yeah. Oh god, I used to dye my hair black a lot too.
I have done that before. I also like to do I would dye like half my head, like the bottom half.
I don't remember
And
that.
that's more of a recent thing.
Oh,
But yeah. But I've like dye the half of my head blonde and then I'd put like blue or green in there.
okay.
But I haven't done it as recently because the last time I had my hair like that, I applied for a new job at a hotel and they made me dye my hair because it wasn't professional enough.
What's your opinion on that actually? Like that's something I thought like do you think your look should determine a job like based on like hair color, piercings, tattoos? Like
Oh, heck no.
do you think that that matters?
No, unless, either your piercing or whatever jewelry you're wearing is either going to injure you or someone you're working with.
Okay.
I don't see an issue in it. You know what I mean? Like if you're working with heavy machinery and you have like a big septum hanging out of your nose
Yeah, maybe
and
take it
like,
off.
exactly. If
Yeah.
it's going to like hurt you,
But
or
if it's a
someone around you.
but if it's a desk job,
If it's a desk job, do you, boo? Who
yeah.
gives a crap? If you're doing your job the way you're supposed to be doing your job, excuse me, doing your job, sorry, and like, what the heck's the problem?
Yeah. Well,
I
again, I
have over 20 tattoos,
that's
and
wild. I forgot.
yeah,
I always forget like just how many tattoos because you have like a bunch of like little ones and then you have a couple big ones, but you have like a lot of like I have
yeah, and I have some hidden ones, and
yeah like I have 3 medium-sized tattoos
okay,
and like I'm
yeah,
planning on getting 2 or 3 more. But like they're
I
all
have
like
about, sorry,
oh no, it's just that they're all like they're not inappropriate, they're not bad, they're easily hideable.
okay, yeah, uh, mine kinda. I mean, like the most not hideable ones I have are on my wrists.
Yeah. Like I have one.
But besides that, they're pretty.
Yeah, like
Um,
I have one on on my. I never know what to call this. It's the opposite side of your forearm on your arm.
okay.
Like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I always want to call it like the shin of my arm.
Okay.
But like I have a tattoo there, and then I have a tattoo on my upper forearm, and then I have a tattoo on my calf, and like that's it. Like all I have to do is wear a shirt, like a long sleeve shirt, and you wouldn't even know.
No, yeah.
And I can even roll up the sleeves on that shirt a little bit, and you wouldn't even know.
Yeah. No, I have some like down right to my wrist, like right where um like your wrist meets your hand.
Yeah.
Um and I have some like on my calves as well, so like I'd have to wear pants.
Yeah. Do you think if it was like an inappropriate tattoo, like a job would be like a place would be justified and not? hiring you?
Um, that yeah. I mean, it depends how outrageous it is, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if it's a freaking Nazi symbol or something, you know, a swastika or something,
Yeah.
you know, then obviously, because that's like, you know, that ties into like not hate speech, but hate speech, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
discrimination and all that kind of stuff. You wouldn't want that in your workplace, which I can agree with.
Yeah.
Uh, Also, if it's like something outrageous, that's I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Steve-O, for example, from Jackass,
Yeah.
um, he used to have a tattoo on his arm, I believe, of an adult fucking a baby.
Did he actually?
He did, and then he got it covered up to a guy fucking an ostrich.
I'm so confused.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you have a tattoo like that, that's clearly visible,
Yeah.
you know,
Maybe don't.
yeah,
Yeah. Maybe don't work with children.
exactly. You
But
know what
again,
I
like
mean?
Steve-O's like line of work, like that would almost make him more money to have outrageous tattoos like that. That's his brand. That's what he's known for.
Exactly. He's known for outrageous stunts like that. So it doesn't surprise me that Steve-O has something like that. But if you're just a normal Joe Blow walking down the street going
Yeah.
to apply for a job and you have somebody fucking something on your arm,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I don't think you would get hired.
Yeah. That's
But
fair.
I mean, most of my tattoos are like I have two tattoos of cats. I have like some skulls, some quotes, you know, stuff like that, and nothing like bad. I have quite
Yeah.
a few hearts on my body, stuff like that. Favorite movies and all that. So I don't think there's anything inappropriate and offensive on my skin that would prohibit me from doing any kind of work.
Yeah. Except that damn hair.
Yeah, that damn hair. No, that too though. That like honestly, it did annoy me, but I needed the job, so
You
I
dyed
just
your
kind
hair.
of I
So like,
dyed my hair
what
and I went with it.
did you go into the interview and they were like, you have the job, but you need to dye your hair, or were they like, dye your hair and then talk to us?
Basically, I was already hired. Like it
Oh.
was my first week, I think, and then they had mentioned it to me and they were like, "Hey, by the way, we would appreciate it if you did this."
Hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, okay."
But I always find like, especially in like the public sector, like if you're ever like going to a clinic or going to like a hotel or like anything where like someone meets you at the entrance,
Yeah.
like usually it's the person with the crazy hair and the cool tattoos and like the face piercings that like are usually the most nicest and the most memorable.
Honestly, that's what I like to think. I mean, obviously, from what I can understand and from what I know, people with tattoos and piercings and dyed hair do that to express
Yeah, well
themselves.
they're on the side of expression.
Exactly. And if they're already that expressive on the outside, you know, what's stopping them from expressing themselves on the inside too and,
Yeah.
you know, expressing how they want to express, being that bubbly person, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's no reason to be hateful.
Yeah.
It's just all a big, ooh, those were my cats. I don't know if you heard that.
It's all good. Barry, my cat is a good boy. Well,
That's good.
actually like mine and Jill's cat is weird. Like,
Oh yeah.
well, he has depending on which combination of people that are home, he behaves differently.
Oh.
So like if I'm the only one home, all he wants to do is sleep and cuddle. That's all he wants to do.
Oh.
He just wants to cuddle me. He just wants to sleep. He's fine. If
Yeah.
if Jill is the only one that's home, he wants to play. He wants to fight. He wants to play catch. He wants to run around. He wants to
Yeah,
play.
it's just crazy.
Yeah. If Jill and I are both home, he's an
Yeah.
asshole. He's an asshole. Climbing up on counters, like knocking the garbage can over, like destroying things. It's super
Oh my
weird.
gosh.
Yeah, he's
Uh,
super weird.
I have three cats and a dog here at home, and it gets pretty hectic sometimes. My
Yeah.
dog likes to think that she's the referee. So anytime two of my cats just happen to run by because they're chasing each other or whatever, my dog will step in. She'll be like half asleep on her bed and everything, and she will get up, chase them as far as she can, like growling and whining, and
Oh wow.
yeah. And I have a Siamese cat. That's my little baby. Her name's Sapphire.
Ooh.
She's actually a rescue from New Brunswick. I brought her home
Oh my
to
god.
Ontario with me. Yeah. And she has quite the personality.
Yeah.
Um, Siamese cats are very vocal.
Oh,
Um,
Barry is too. Barry.
so
Oh.
every time she walks into a room and you say, "Hi, little baby," she'll scream back at you. That's what
Yeah.
I call it. She screams.
Jillian had to teach Barry how to do that, but Barry does that,
Oh,
and he's super. He hasn't stopped since he's learned.
yeah. I think it's cute. It's their way of communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I have three cats. Sorry, I have Sapphire. She's the youngest, and then I have Venus. I call her Weenie though.
Okay.
She is honestly the most stereotypical cat-ish cat I have ever had.
Oh. Okay.
Like, um, you see online, like cats only come to you for affection when they want it.
Yeah. And then as soon as they
That is
don't,
Venus.
you better know when they want you to stop, or they'll just tear your arm
Oh, heck
apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Except they won't tear my arm apart, I'll just get a little bite.
See, Barry isn't like I think Barry thinks he might be a dog. Well,
Oh,
for one, he's Maine Coon, so he's already the largest cat breed. So
yeah.
he's a big cat. Like he's a little chunky, but like he's also like super long and super tall for a cat.
Hmm.
And like I've genuinely trained him like a dog. Like he shakes a paw. He knows when to sit, lay down. Like he's super well. Like he's trained like a dog.
That's so cute. My cat Sapphire, little baby, can sit for treats.
Yeah.
My dad taught her to do that.
Well, Barry can shake a paw, high five. Sometimes he gives kisses.
Aw,
Like if you go like he'll like come and
yeah.
like he'll give you like a face rub.
Aw, that's so cute.
Uh,
Um, my eldest cat, Fluffles, she's also a Maine Coon,
okay.
and she gives kisses. If you go up to her and you just kind of bow your head a bit, so your forehead is level to her face.
Yeah. Hello. Oh, you there?
I, yep, sorry, I am so sorry. I got a phone call.
Oh, that is okay. That is okay. You were you were saying Fluffles?
Yeah, sorry. So if you bow your head to her, um, she will lick your forehead and she'll just give you kisses.
Oh.
It's super cute and like not just like rubbing her face against yours. It's full on tongue action.
Oh
It
my
is
god.
awesome.
See, the only
Yeah.
weird cat thing. So I used to at my mom's place when I was still living in Timmins. We had a cat named Cookies,
Hmm.
and he had this weird obsession that if you had wet hair,
Yeah.
he would try to clean you. Like if you got out of the shower and like sat on the couch or something like that,
Yeah.
he would go up on the back of the couch and just start licking the heck out of your freaking hair.
Aw.
Well,
Oh,
it
that's really
got a little weird and annoying by the end of it, but
yeah, I could see that, but still sounds cute.
yeah. All right, so we're about at the end of the podcast now.
Awesome.
Now, in terms of your poetry book, where can people find that?
Oh, yes. So, I self-published my poetry novel from lulu.com, but if you just Google my name, Danielle Turgeon, on Google, and you swipe over on the top tab over to books, you can find the link. It's called Existence, and yeah, you can purchase it there. Or if you happen to be in town with me here in Timmins, you can buy a copy of me in town, get it signed, and all that fun stuff. I also have an email address you can hook me up at. It's Danielle Turgeon Writes at outlook.com if you want to send me some info or some comments, questions, anything like that.
Alrighty, and all those links will also be down in the description below. And thank you for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Fred. It was
Oh yeah.
honestly a blast.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. Well, it was a little heavy at first there, but
A little bit,
We
but
got to some lighthearted stuff.
yeah, exactly. I had honestly a great time. Thank you again for having me.
Oh, no problem. Alrighty. Well, we'll see you next time. Bye bye.